Most people feel you before words. That is good news if you go quiet whenever conversations start getting important. You do not need louder stories. You need a way to make people feel understood without performing nonstop. That frozen feeling is real. Someone asks something simple, and suddenly your mind goes blank and your chest tightens. Then you watch louder people glide. They fill every pause, and you assume social power belongs to whoever talks most. It does not. You can become unforgettable by helping people feel deeply heard even when you speak less than everyone else. That shift changes parties, dates, meetings, and everyday small talk. It gives quiet people a social advantage they rarely notice. Because your problem is not quietness. It is feeling pressure to prove value before real connection even starts. So you rush your answers. You search for clever lines while the other person searches for one thing: ease. People open up around ease. They relax around someone who is present, not someone trying to impress them. Here is your first tool. Stop planning your next sentence and hold eye contact one beat longer before answering. That tiny pause feels bold. To them it feels grounded, like you actually received what they said. Most people never realize this. Fast replies often signal nerves, while a brief pause signals that their words landed. So when someone says they had a rough week, do not race in. Let one quiet beat pass. Then use a small reflection. Say, "That sounds draining," or "You have had a lot on your plate." Simple words, huge effect. Reflection tells people you caught the feeling, not just the facts. And this is where it gets interesting. Feeling heard has less to do with saying more, and more to do with proving attention. You're about to learn 3 powerful shifts. The first calms people instantly. The second deepens trust. The third changes your presence. The first is reflecting emotion. The second is guiding with better questions. And the third is mastering warm silence. That last one matters most. White people already sit closer to it, but few know how powerful it becomes. Think about the last dead conversation. You answered the question. Then both of you stared into the gap. That happens because facts end conversations. Feelings, choices, and meaning keep them moving. If someone says, "I moved here last year," most people reply, "Nice. Where from?" That is fine, but flat. A better move is this. Ask, "What has surprised you most since moving here?" Now they are not listing data. They are sharing perspective, which always gives conversation more life. Use that pattern everywhere. Move from facts to experience, from events to meaning, from surface to feeling. If someone mentions a new job, ask, "What has been the best part so far?" That opens warmth fast. If someone mentions travel, ask, "What stuck with you most?" People love describing what lingered in them. Here is the deeper reason. People do not bond through information alone. They bond through relived emotion. When you invite someone back into a feeling, their face changes, their voice softens, and suddenly the room disappears. You have seen this happen. A person seems guarded, then one good question opens them like a window. That is not magic. It is relief, because someone finally asked beyond the obvious. Quiet people are naturally built for this. You notice tone shifts, small facial changes, and what others skip right past. That observant nature is not awkwardness. It is social sensitivity, and used well, it becomes quiet charisma. Another tool is the micro summary. After they speak, briefly return the core idea in your own simple words. Not like a therapist, more like a steady friend saying so. You wanted freedom, but it came with pressure. That tells them 2 things. First, you listened. Second, they make sense in your presence. People remember that feeling for a long time. Being understood is rare, and rarity always feels magnetic. Here's a scene you know. You are introduced at work, and your throat tightens before the first sentence. Instead of hunting for something impressive, become curious fast. Ask, "What are you working on that feels exciting lately?" Notice the difference there. It sounds natural, and it gives them room to talk about energy, not duty. When they answer, do not jump to your own story. Reflect one part back, then ask one layer deeper. They say, "We are launching something new." You say, "That sounds intense." What part are you most focused on? Now the conversation has momentum. You did not carry it by talking more. You carried it by directing attention well. And here's the part people miss. Good listeners are not passive. They guide without stealing the spotlight. That guidance can be tiny. A head nod, a soft smile, or a short phrase like, "Tell me more." Those small cues matter because they reduce self-consciousness. People speak better when they sense permission instead of evaluation. Watch for the body language underneath. A slight lean-in usually means interest, not confidence theater. A head tilt often signals engaged listening. It means their attention is on you, not on escaping. Crossed arms do not always mean coldness. Often they mean self-protection, especially when someone feels watched or unsure. So do not assume rejection too fast. Give warmth first, and their body often opens after their nervous system does. That is a major quiet person advantage. You stop misreading people as rude and start reading them as guarded. When you read that accurately, your energy changes. You stop chasing approval and start offering comfort. Comfort is more attractive than performance. People are drawn to whoever makes social moments feel lighter and easier. Try this on a date. If they seem a little tense, slow your speech by 10%. Keep your shoulders open, rest your hands, breathe before answering, and let your words land instead of spilling. That slower rhythm communicates safety. It says, I am not rushing you, and I am not rushing myself. People mirror that calm without noticing. Mirroring is often subconscious connection, not some grand statement of attraction. So if they start matching your pace, that matters. It usually means your grounded energy is shaping the interaction. Another practical move is naming the emotional theme. Not dramatically, just clearly and softly. If a friend says everything feels messy lately, say, sounds like you've been carrying a lot alone. That sentence lands because it organizes their inner experience. People feel close to whoever helps them feel less scattered. And the next shift is powerful. Stop asking machine gun questions that make conversation feel like an interview. Questions should open space, not trap someone inside it. One strong question beats 5 shallow ones every time. Use a rule of one thread, pick one thing they said, and stay with it a little longer. If they mention running in the mornings, do not pivot instantly. Ask, what do you like about being out that early? Now they can reveal mood, routine, identity, or peace. One detail turns into a whole doorway. That is how quiet people stop running out of things to say. You stop searching wide and start listening deep. Here's a phrase that works almost anywhere. Say, what made you decide on that? It sounds simple because it is. Decisions reveal values, and values create real conversation quickly. Another great one is this. Say, what was the best part of that? People light up when asked about the best part. Their energy rises, and now you are talking to their aliveness. Use this one when they share something frustrating. Ask, what has been the hardest part for you? That question feels caring without being heavy. It tells them you are not afraid of honesty. And save this one for moments with spark. Say, I would love to hear your take on that. That phrase gives respect. People feel seen as thoughtful, and thoughtful people usually return warmth. If one of these already fits your life, drop it in the comments. Your example might help someone speak easier tomorrow. Quiet people often think their struggle is unique. Reading other experiences reminds you how shared these moments really are. So tell me this, which feels harder for you, starting conversations or keeping them going naturally? Someone reading your answer will feel understood. That alone makes the comments worth opening. Now let us get to the hidden part. Making people feel heard also depends on how your body receives them. Your face speaks before your mouth does. If your forehead is tight, your jaw clenched, people feel judged. So soften the front of your face. Let your eyes do the smiling before your mouth tries. That creates warmth without fake cheerfulness. It is the difference between polite attention and inviting attention. Keep your body stiller than your nerves want. Quick fidgeting makes people feel they need to hurry. Stillness is powerful because it suggests capacity. Like a still pond, it makes people want to lean closer. This is where many quiet people sabotage themselves. They listen well, then shrink physically when it is their turn. Do not collapse your voice at the end. Finish statements like statements, not like borrowed permission. You do not need a deeper voice. You need steadier endings and breath before important words. That alone changes how heard you feel. Confidence is not loudness, it is comfort with being seen anyway. Here is a practical combo that works beautifully. Pause, reflect, then ask one open follow-up. Someone says, I almost quit last month. You pause, you say, that sounds exhausting. What kept you going? 3 moves, big impact. They feel understood, respected, and invited to share something real. And here's another detail most people miss. Names work best when used gently, not constantly. Use their name after something meaningful. It adds warmth and makes your attention feel personal instead of generic. Like this. That makes sense, Maya. You were trying to protect your peace. That feels intimate without being intense. Used sparingly, it deepens connection fast. Now let us talk about silence. Most people fear silence because they assume it means failure. It often means processing. Comfortable silence is one of the highest forms of social trust. Watch confident people closely. They do not panic when a pause appears. They let the moment breathe. That breathing room helps others reveal more. People often say their most honest thing right after a pause. So when a quiet beat arrives, stay there. Hold soft eye contact and let them come back in. This matters even more with attractive people. When you get nervous, your urge is to fill every gap. But filling every gap makes you perform. Holding a calm pause makes you present, and presence feels far more attractive. Attraction is rarely about perfect lines. It is about how someone feels in their own skin around you. That is why quiet people can be magnetic. You make room, and room is rare. If someone repeats something you said later, notice it. That means your presence landed deeper than you realized. People do that when a moment felt safe. They carry your words because your energy gave them somewhere to rest. Here is the real shift underneath everything. Stop trying to prove you are worth hearing. Instead, make the other person feel worth hearing. Social pressure drops the second your attention turns outward. That does not mean disappearing. It means trading performance for presence, which is where real charisma begins. Because charisma is not dominating attention, it is making people feel seen without making them feel examined. That is the withheld piece. The strongest social presence often belongs to the person creating relief, not display. Most people chase admiration. Deep connection usually starts with something quieter, emotional exhale. When someone feels heard, they feel safer. When they feel safer, they show more of themselves. And when they show more of themselves, they associate that ease with you. That is quiet influence. So the goal was never perfect wording. The goal was becoming a place where people can unclench. That is why being quiet is not a weakness. Your calm, your observation, and your pacing already support this skill. You were never missing a louder personality. You were missing a structure that fits your nature. Now you have one. Pause, reflect, ask deeper, soften your face, steady your body, and trust silence. Try one of those today. Use just one question, one pause, or one reflection in your next conversation. Do not chase perfection with it. Just notice how people change when they feel less rushed around you. And tell me which tool stayed with you most. Your answer will help someone else unlock their quiet confidence faster. If you want more of this, subscribe and turn on the bell. More quiet social skills are coming your way. You do not need to become louder to become powerful. You need to become easier to feel around. Quiet presence is not empty space. It is the kind of attention people remember long after the conversation ends.